program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of this station or sponsors. Listeners are advised that neither the station nor owners and agents will be held liable for the content of this program. Rebroadcast, redistributed, or reused without the express written permission without the host or producer is not allowed. You are listening to Family Spirit International.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Family Spirit International. This is our second broadcast with video and audio. So, what we have, we are on Web Paranormal Network, and we are also on Supernatural Inc. Studio. So we are broadcast everywhere. We've got so many people in the house. It's going to be a great, great show. So there's my co-host with the mostest, Blaine Rohan.
Well, hello, hello. Let's see. The handsome silver talking devil is back, y'all. Woo!
Hi, Carol Garcia. Thank you for listening. Thank you, David, for watching us. While we are waiting for everybody to load in, I want to tell you that we are on Facebook, 5 different profiles. We are on YouTube. We are on Josh Who TV. We are on Instagram. I just everywhere. We're everywhere. YouTube too. So this is what it takes to get some word out. We've got a very special guest tonight and some people that have had some experiences that need some answers. And luckily, our guest will be able to shed some light on that. We have the a wonderful Jack CARY, one of the greatest dudes I know, and 2 people I love dearly, Maria and Jeff. Maria Player and Jeff Leaper. Everybody to do with this show tonight is part of my tribe. I don't know if you know, but I want to say special thank you to Brandon Cooper. You're like a brother to me. Thank you for producing the show. Stan Fikes, you are like family to me as well, and your precious wife. Thank you for producing the show. Also, Rex Nielsen. He is not only a very dear friend, but he is the illustrator for my new book, Tales in the Dark. If you guys have ever told spooky stories by the campfire when you were a kid, maybe you were a Boy Scout or Girl Scout or something like that, or just with family, you need my book, especially to see the illustrations that Rex did. He's incredible. Um, so we've got a lot of things going. It's going to be a great show. First, I'm going to pick the card of the day. Okay. So this is for everybody. It's a general reading, and I'll do this to kind of give us a little break in between our conversations, too. Tonight, we are talking about the Beast from Bray Road, and it is pretty intense. The Beast of Bray Road has attacked several people. Some say he's a wolf man. Some say he's a dogman of the indigenous tribes of the area. Some people say that he's a werewolf, even. So there's a lot of things that's going on with that. Very concerned about the people in Wisconsin. So we'll be talking about that, and we're going to talk about some area near Maria and Jeff and some of the findings. This is the deck. Oops, can you see it? There that I'm pulling from. It's called the Shamanic Medicine deck, and it just resonates with me. I hope you guys will like it. Brandon, I need to get you one of these because with you being a shaman, it'll resonate with you too. So here we go. Just a general card while everybody is emailing, texting, messaging all your friends, telling them we are live. Okay, here we go. This one is it's called the soul retrieval. Okay. I'm trying to get it where everybody can see it. Soul retrieval is about reclaiming. Okay. Whether it be during the shutdown, whether it be due to illness, whether it's losing your job, getting a new job. So many of us have had to restart, reclaim, revitalize what they do. And I want you to know that I'm claiming with each of you that's watching tonight that you will have not just what you lost, but you will have more, and it will be of abundance, and you will have a lovely life and that's full of rewards and friends and love. Rewards doesn't have to be monetary, but you have to earn your friends. So that means that it's the best of you coming out. So that's the first card for the night. Okay, let's see. Um, is Blaine in the house? I think he had to go back out. Okay, that's okay. That's great. I got your voice. That's all we need. I'd love to see you though. I'd like to introduce Jack Carey to the show. Take take your time, Jack. Hey, I get to see
Hi,
you this
Lee.
way too.
Hi. It's,
Congratulations on your anniversary, your wedding
thank you.
anniversary. You are
Thank
at
you very much.
20, right? 20?
Yes. Yeah. 18 years married, but together for 22. So.
That's so cool. That is 25 for me. So, yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
You know it. So,
Yeah. You look great. You're
thanks. Thanks. So do you, by the way.
Thank you. That's right, Blaine. It's a good time. A lot of people don't know other family or friends, I should say, that have a good marriage. A lot of children grow up with children their age not having a mother and a father or two
Right.
parents and stuff like that. And I'm glad to know that I've got people that are happily married. That
Yeah.
want the
Yeah.
best for each other.
They do exist. They are out there in the world.
Okay, Blaine, we can't hear you, my darling. They said that they can't hear you, so check your audio setting. Okay, well, we'll keep going. So I hear you. Let's see. Jack Carey has been a field researcher with cryptozoology for over 30 years, and he's an investigator. He's an author of 4 books. He's appeared on multiple docuseries, including the Gaia Productions, and that's actually where I saw him first. And I've known him for several years. And look, I've been having a lot of calls about these beings. These Okay, no problem. So let's talk a bit about the Beast of Bray Road.
Absolutely. One of my favorite subjects, by the
Oh,
way.
well, he's a scary one. I mean, he's every bit as scary. I don't know if he's as scary as the Wendigo, but he's pretty deadly. Wendigos just creep me out. Whew.
Yeah, they are creepy, aren't they?
Yeah.
So,
But so do you believe this one is interdimensional? I do, but
well,
I'm just weighing in.
interdimensional, perhaps, but I absolutely believe it has an extraterrestrial source, and I have a lot of good reason to believe that. Exhibit A would be Linda Godfrey's account of having been contacted by a CIA remote viewer, which she wrote about in her book, Real Wolfmen of North America in America, for those of you that have read that book. And he claimed that they were tasked with targeting dogmen.
Are you serious? Oh
Yes,
my God.
yes. And he was able to provide her with credentials that she could verify that he was who he said he was.
See, this is why I wanted to have you on because you have a lot of inside knowledge, and I've been doing some research and on the indigenous side, and I might even have to bring my producer, one of my 2 producers, on, Brandon Cooper. He's a shaman. Brandon, might be something I could use your weigh in on before we get Maria and Jeff on. Thank you, Brandon.
Sure, no problem.
One of the things that we've studied as indigenous spiritualists, we've studied about how some people attain a level of, I guess you'd call it spirituality, where they can cross between flesh and spirit. And there's a price for those things. And sometimes, like with the Wendigo, it's the price of their soul. damning them because they actually have to be cannibalistic,
Right.
and that takes over their lives. One of the things that I had seen about the Beast of Bray Road is that it is very similar, um, as far as its incest. What's what I'm looking for, with its hunger of being able to protect the area that it's in. Have you heard about that? Because it stays in that general area.
Well, you know about its voracious eating habits.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know, I've not heard that particular aspect of the Beast of Bray Road, but I can tell you that that this remote viewer told Linda that when they targeted these creatures, they had detected an extraterrestrial origin for them at some point in the past,
Oh
is what
my
he
lord.
said. He went on to give her such details as they had a bioluminescence to their fur, which would explain the sparkly nature. He also talked about them having a type of bio armor, which would explain why high-powered, ammunition
Ammunition.
seems to have no effect on them. And so a lot of the key points that he made to her were just spot on with what we were seeing in various Dogman cases, including those dealing with the Beast of Bray Road. Now, what's fascinating is that there's a documentary out that features the farmer who owns the land adjacent to Bray Road. And he had spotted the creature a number of times. And this documentary shows the farmer where he had literally planted cameras on his property. And guess what he discovered, which, by the way, is in keeping with the Pentagon's new OSAP program findings dealing with a dogman. But what he found when he put these cameras out on the field was a profound amount of UFO activity taking place in the sky. And he found tracks on a number of occasions. Now, the tracks were very interesting because they're 5-toed, but they have 7 pads. And they're very distinctive. There's 2 pads on the back of the foot that are just so very interesting to look at compared to any other Dogman print that I've seen. Been presented as a Dogman track. And he even had an experience where he baited the creature with a dead deer carcass, and he put the deer carcass out on his property in front of one of these cameras, only to witness a fog forming in the middle of the field. And the fog moved over the carcass of the animal, and when it dissipated, the carcass was gone.
Oh.
So that's the kind of crazy stuff that we're talking about here. Now, I find that interesting because of the UFO activity and the strange lights and the orbs and stuff like that he was reporting on his property with his cameras because of the remote viewers' claims, right? And then when you fast forward to today and the best-selling book, Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, written by Dr. Colm Kelleher, the chief scientist both at Skinwalker Ranch and for the OSAP program under the Pentagon, they had a profound Dogman encounter that they equated as being part of the overall UFO phenomenon. Now, the chief, the highest ranking CIA agent that was involved in all of this, and they call him Mr. Axelrod in the book. He's so high ranking that they can't even use his real name. Had an experience with what they call the hitchhiker effect. Now, the OSAP program ran parallel to the ATIP program, and ATIP was studying UFOs. OSAP was studying the underlying paranormal aspect of the UFO phenomenon. Whole other story, right? What they determined was that, and these are their words in the actual report to Congress, that until they can fully understand the underlying paranormal aspect of the UFO phenomenon, they will never, ever fully understand the UFO phenomenon itself. And the reason why is because they had a 100% hit rate of what they call the hitchhiker effect. That means 100% of the people involved with the study of UFOs in that program went home at a later time only to have profound paranormal activity take place in their houses, like poltergeist activity, like objects materializing out of thin air and then dematerializing, orbs floating through the air, and, by the way, a profound dogman encounter with Mr. Axelrod's family 1,000 miles from Skinwalker Ranch after he had had exposure to all of this. His wife, on a Wednesday night, or I'm sorry, a Sunday night, walks to the kitchen sink, 11:45 at night. She's getting a glass of water, and she looks out and she sees, to this poor woman's surprise, or chagrin, we should say, a upright, 8-foot tall, bipedal, dog-headed creature standing at the edge of their property, glaring at her. She thought she was losing her mind.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah, this is a poor lady who had never been exposed to any of this stuff before, right? So she doesn't say a word to her family, including her CIA agent husband, who's involved with all of this UFO program going on at the Pentagon and Skinwalker Ranch. The following Saturday morning, 10:45 a.m., bright daylight. The kids in the game room see movement at the window. They look over, and there's that dog man staring in through the window at them, glaring. They get up, run to the window, and they describe seeing this dog man actually kick up leaves as it went across the property. This was a physical creature of some kind. So all of this was recorded in Skinwalkers at the Pentagon by these CIA agents. It was 100% positively identified as being part of the overall hitchhiker effect, which is the underlying paranormal aspect of the UFO phenomenon. And that, combined with the farmer's account and with the remote viewer who got a hold of Linda Godfrey, leads me to strongly to believe that there's an extraterrestrial connection to these creatures.
Thank you, Christopher. If you could hit the StreamYard link, that'd be great. Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. Okay, hun, no problem. Jack, what I was interested about, this is every time I talk about this subject, it feels sort of, I just feel like everybody's going to think I'm crazy.
Well, it's a crazy subject.
It really is. But one of the things that I've been studying is effigy mounds, and effigy mounds, they're not necessarily an Indian mound, like a burial site.
Right.
They're like more of a ceremonial ground is what, and I feel like that area in Wisconsin is part of an effigy. I went on Google Earth and I was looking at it, and you can see these figures within that property. The figures look like birds, or they look like a dog, or whatever, and they're there. They're not great because they've been there for so many years, but they're there. And I do have two people that are in our waiting room right now. They're in the green room. Somebody just said, "You are crazy." I said, "You are crazy. We do the investigations and we research these things." You're right. I mean, we have to know what's going on. Let me bring on Jeff and Maria. And Brandon, these are the pictures I emailed you, okay? And for those of you listening, I will explain them to you. Hey, Maria. Hey, Jeff. So I can't hear you very well. You might have to adjust your volume. So Jeff Leeper is a demonologist, and Jeff and Maria both do exorcisms together. Maria is the assistant. She takes care of the client, and she's a nurse. So it's fantastic to have her. I mean, what a great combination.
Yeah.
So we're very happy to have, their contribution to the supernatural field. They've been doing exorcisms and research. Well, they started having some activity on their property. It's not as bad as Wisconsin, obviously, but Jeff in particular has been having he's got some gifts that are starting to wake up, and he can't tell when he sees these creatures if they are in the flesh or their spirit. And now they're able to speak to him, and that's how it happened for me. And I was trying to figure out what could this be. Why is that the case? Well, I went in Google Earth and was kind of looking over their property. There's Blaine. Oh, nope. We're going to keep trying. But I was able to see some creatures like from a very high distance. This would be an aerial view. Obviously, Google Earth is aerial. And
Uh-huh.
you can see a bird. It's a huge area, but it's a bird. And it's less than a half a mile from her property. Okay. Hey, Linda, how are you? Thank you for listening. And thank you, whoever Gaming Tarian is. And I appreciate everybody watching. So, Brandon, before I open the questions from Jeff and Maria, do you have the pictures ready? Do you have the emails I sent you ready with those pictures? There's like four, there's one. Okay. That is in the middle of her neighbor's property. Like I said, it's less than a half a mile from her house.
Wow.
And but you can see how far out it goes. That's a
Mm.
big hunk of property, and it looks like a mound to me.
Yeah.
Can you weigh in on that? Oh, hey, Corey. Love you, honey. What do you think? Do you see this one?
Yeah.
There's one more. I think there's two more. But this one, that's the yellow line, where it's pointing to, that looks like a bird with its wings expanded.
Right.
And the other one looks like a part of a mount, Indian mount. And I thought, well, gosh, if these were effigy mounds and possibly burial grounds near her, those kinds, as you know, animal spirits are not just, there it is right there. That's water source. And when you deal with the beast of Bray Road, if you're dealing with animal spirits, things like, especially native and indigenous animal spirits, they come from the
Mhm.
water. They come from water, and they go back into water, and they're interdimensional. So I wanted you to see what I see, and I might be reaching, but I do believe that there's something there. I mean, this is in and around the Washington area. I don't want to give Maria's location of where she lives because of safety reasons.
Sure.
What do you see, guys? Now that you have seen these for the first time, do you see what I'm pointing out? This is not in your exact location. Not exactly. It would be a little bit down the street. Matt's not here to be able to give you the exact information. He's in the other room. But when he went to Google Earth, he looked all over your property and then looked further down, and then that's where this stuff started jumping out.
Interesting.
Yeah. The point of this is that indigenous animal spirits, they could go back. Yeah, they could go back and forth between flesh and spirit.
Mhm.
And that is also something the beast of Bray Road has been known to do. It'll just disappear. Yeah, and we all know the connection between indigenous people and alien activity.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is one of the known patterns that Linda Godfrey did establish, was the fact that there were burial or effigy mounds, cornfields, and water near most of the sightings had those three things in common.
I just thought I would throw that out there because as I've been reading more and more about the hunt is on for the beast of Bray Road, I thought, gosh, what is going on now with this? And then when I found out that these first were recorded, when was I know that there's like a big movie in the early 2000s and all the way through the 80s and 90s. But the very first alleged sighting was in 1936.
Wow.
So they live there, you know.
Right.
So, Jeff, what
So
do you think since you were having those experiences? Jeff, can you hear me? Somebody's
Yeah, I can
asking.
hear you.
Okay,
Uh, yeah, I've been asking you for help with all this because it's all very new to me.
I know it.
Little dog that belonged to Maria in life visited me in broad daylight. I'm working outside, and I turned around and I said, "Oh, whose little girl are you?" And the dog's looking up at me and just all smiley doggy stuff and tail wagging. And I turn around and go back to work, and the dog nips at my heel, just at my pant leg, to get my attention. So I turned around again. Well, that dog showed up because I turned the dog and it's gone. It's just there it was, there it isn't. That night, it's at my door to the room I'm staying in. It's a glass door, and it's scratching on the door. And I go out and look, and it's gone. But
Uh-oh.
oh no.
He'll be back.
Yep.
Somebody else has asked us a question while they're trying to get their signal back. I have one question. Has anyone gotten hurt near that Wisconsin area?
Well, it's as far as somebody saying, "Oh," and went to the hospital saying a dog man scratched me or something like that. No, but there are plenty of missing people, and it could be that they're not hurt; they just get taken. You know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The effigy mounds that I was looking at, there's some that are prehistoric that are mound. There's a lot of mound cultures anyway, but this is in Iowa, effigy mounds in Iowa that I was really trying to study about to see. Okay, Debbie Cribb has a question for us. She's asking Wendigos as well can switch between flesh and spirit, so they're very similar. That's what I was also thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And having an alien connection makes sense to me too.
Yeah, absolutely. It, uh, it's a very strange thing, and the fact that they're linking what we would consider to be, up until recent times in paranormal research and investigation, disparate kinds of paranormal activity, they're claiming is all part of the same thing, and that the UFO activity is part of that. Isn't that
Okay.
bizarre? I mean, it's hard to wrap your brain around that.
Yeah.
But they're saying that along with the UFOs, these people, every one of them, 100% of the entire program, experienced bizarre kinds of paranormal activity that we would call ghostly, even. So,
That's something that I was going to ask you about too, because it feels like if this kind of energy is in that area, anything that may have um, electromagnetic activation would be at high. What's the word I'm looking for? It would be it would be activated, I guess you'd say. Everything would
right,
have a lot of,
interdimensional
there it is. Um,
activity going on.
there it is. So what I'm looking at is the hunt is on for the Beast of Bray Road in Walworth County. I'm going to just do this like a news thing, a news article, because it is. It's WMTV, NBC15.com. It's Madison, channel 15 with NBC. And so this is a wolf-like creature, and it's prominent part of the Wisconsin folklore. And there's a lady here. This came out May 18th of 2023.
Wow.
So just a few weeks ago, and there are many urban legends and mythological creatures that have been start over. There are many urban legends and mythological creatures that have captured the imaginations of people all over the world. Of course, there's Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest, the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland, but there's here in southern Wisconsin, the Beast of Bray Road is one spooky tale. Wow, they've got people that are witnesses to what happened. The beast is like a wolf, very similar to a wolf-human blend. It's a mythological-looking creature, and it's been seen roaming around the Walworth County areas for decades. There's numerous sightings, and to this day, there are people on the hunt for the beast. And apparently, they're having a celebration for this creature. I'm not sure that that's the smart thing to do, but there you go. But as early as recent, I should say, as just a few weeks ago, there's people saying they saw it and
Yeah,
experienced it.
yeah.
So, do you know what kind of research is being done?
As far as what they're doing, I'm not really sure, but I can tell you that in the many cases dealing with the Beast of Bray Road that I've covered and read, there always seems to be a sort of underlying scarecrow effect.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's like the creature is there and shows itself to scare people out of the area. You see what I mean?
Well, and that's why I mentioned what I did about the indigenous effigy mounds, because these animal spirits that are blended, it could be any kind of thing. Actually, you could call it an elemental in other types of
Sure.
culture, okay, that are meant to protect those areas because they are sacred, and
Right.
they chase people out of there like a guard dog.
Yeah, like a guard dog, and it seems to have that scarecrow effect every time it shows itself. The very, if something else were happening in the area, let's say even ET activity of some kind, all you're paying attention to is the fact that you're staring at a 8 foot tall, bipedal, canine headed wolf like human creature. And that alone, would not only occupy your entire attention, but would get you out of an area pretty fast.
Yeah, it would definitely cause me to move quickly. Yes.
Right. Right.
So someone here is saying if they could cross dimensions, dogmen, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, etc., that would be a possible explanation of why modern technology has not been able to capture a solid evidence.
Yeah. Now, I will
Right.
tell you that the remote viewer that Godfrey had talked to claimed that they possess some sort of technological device that allowed them to project themselves from one area to another, almost like like on Star Trek, where
That
you're
makes sense.
beamed from one place to the next. So I found that interesting too in his testimony.
All right, Jeff, you were saying something to us. Jeff, can you hear me?
I'm really having trouble hearing you. I'm sorry. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound good. You look great.
Okay, great.
I'm trying to switch over
Jack?
to the laptop to see if that's any better because we are having audio issues. But
Well, there we
you can
go.
finish what you're saying with the
Yeah.
dog now.
Yeah, you can say what
Anyway, yeah, the dog showed up a couple nights later. I had told Maria about it, and she recognized the dog as one she had, and it's no longer living. But the dog showed up, and it came and scratched on the door, and it was like, what, almost midnight. And the dog is scratching on the door. I walk out. I said, "What are you doing here?" And the dog said, "Here's what I got to say." The dog said, "Let me in."
See, that's a situation. That's scary.
Right.
Wow, where did Jack go? There he is. He's
Yeah.
back.
So the dog
The
started
dog
walking
said
away,
to you, yeah, and
and
this
I
is
followed. I wasn't letting it in, but I did follow it, and it started walking up toward Maria's, and I, I didn't go any farther, but
well, I know that
it
you're
was
not.
really strange.
Yeah,
And it was the next day. I'm sitting at Maria's, and a Native American gentleman walked out of the field, and he's walking right toward me, and I'm shaking my head no, like no, don't come here. And he's smiling, and he keeps walking up on me. And Maria's like, "What do you see? What's going on?" And she said, "Why are you frowning like that?" I was stunned. But after speaking to Litriana, it wasn't a dog.
yeah, it's not a
It
dog.
was that Native American,
He's able
and
to.
he had something he wanted me to do.
I totally
And
agree.
I don't know what the heck the deal is. I'm having trouble understanding all of this, and I never really had problems with this kind of thing until recently. When I had a near-death experience while I was over there, and when I came back, all this weird stuff came with me. I've been talking to a very elegant older lady who shows up, and it is Maria's grandmother, who has been passed for how long?
At least 25, 30 years. Oh, wow.
A very proper lady. But oh my gosh, I don't know. My brain is causing me problems.
It's not your brain. It's I think you're having a supernatural experience. I
And I
feel like
did ask Litriana how I could shut it off, and she told me to eat olives.
that's right. That's a little trick that Jason Hawes tells people. You know, if you're seeing too many things, he was told that there's properties in, well, people use olive oil to do um, the olives. Olive oil is used to anoint people. So it is a holy oil. You can use frankincense in it as well. But, you know, for that type of thing, but eating olives is purifying you. So, Carol says, if you know, do you know if contacting or abducting certain people happened because of a contact made through those personal lineages? Uh oh, can't hear you. Jack, you're there. You are. You're
How
back.
about you? All right, sorry about that. There is a pattern of people being abducted with Rh negative blood. That's one of the abduction patterns that's out there. But if you read the Pentagon report given to Congress, they claimed that even one of the people involved with the program suffered an alien abduction, and they included that as part of the hitchhiker effect. And not only that, but an unaccounted for pregnancy was listed. Yeah,
Wow. Well,
yeah, yeah. This
woo.
is all published and out there, and has even been on mainstream media. By the way, I have to say, shortly before getting on the program with you, the mainstream media, and I won't say the exact channel because it doesn't really matter, ran a story about a new whistleblower that just appeared before Congress, telling them and showing them, by the way, that they have intact alien craft in their possession. This just happened like just a few minutes before I came on the
Okay.
program
So
with you.
before you
And,
came on the show,
right.
a whistleblower spoke to whom?
Well, this was reported on one of the main networks, but
Okay.
and it's out there now. If you just Google it, I'm sure it's all over the place. The video of
Oh,
it.
dear
So,
Lord.
so not only that, he's claimed that they have both partial and full intact craft, and had full knowledge of where they're being kept, and the fact that it was illegally being kept from the Congress, as far as the knowledge of the special access program goes. So that is people
Okay.
people want to know about what disclosure is happening and all of that. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening every single day. Maybe not as fast as we would like, and maybe they're not going to roll the bodies out quite yet. But when a guy appears before Congress and says, "Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. I got the craft," then that's a big deal.
Well, I just found this. It is a whistleblower, so I think this might be it. It's in the Sun, the New York Sun, and they said they've been sitting on recovered aircraft of extraterrestrials and non-human origin for decades. And there's video and all kinds of such. So you could go there. It's also on the New York Magazine
Yeah, and
and the
it was
debrief.
on.
It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, it was just on CNN. The debrief really broke the story, but CNN, Fox, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, it's everywhere. You're right. It hit the news and it's out. It's everywhere.
Yep. So it's a big, big deal. Um,
Well, maybe one day we'll be able to put all this together.
right.
Well, how are you feeling, Jeff? Are you doing okay? What did you think about
We're
the?
trying to get
Yeah,
connected.
we
We can
just
hardly hear
we
anything.
didn't
I'm
hear.
sorry.
That's
Having
okay.
technical difficulties.
That's okay. I'm just glad that you guys came on and that I'll send you those pictures. And what we'll need to do
Okay.
after sometime, after the show, obviously, sometime later this week, let's get a video together with me and you and my husband Matt, and we'll go on Google Earth together, and he can show you where you are and then where these things are. And Jeff, maybe we should look and see where these things have happened to you. And let's see if we can draw at least some sort of parallel. And yes, I do have uh-oh. Is Blaine gonna make it in? Bless his heart.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys Brandon's number too. Okay. Brandon
Thank
Cooper,
you.
who's my producer. There he is. Hey Blaine. I'll give you his number too. You need to meet him anyway. Well, I'm gonna sign out with you two for now because you can't hear me anyway. I'll send you a message in just a little bit after the show. Okay? All right. Thank you. Welcome back, Blaine. I know you've had a lot of trouble.
It seems we're a bit plagued with some.
Yeah.
some
Somebody here just posted, Corey said, a little suspicious that so many are having internet difficulties with these topics being discussed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of times with these shows, especially Blaine and I have a lot of trouble because we always have EVPs in our show. Always.
Right.
I That's Christopher. Thank you, Christopher.
Thanks, Brandon.
And I'm doing everything I humanly can back here to try to keep everything going, and it's going haywire.
It's
Wow.
just part of it, Brandon. It's just part of it.
That's part of the electromagnetism that we're generating by talking about all of these subject matters. But
Okay. Thank you, Christopher. I don't know if you guys can hear him. He said that he tried to get on and it kicked him out, and he's got a ticket in with support to try to figure it out. It's not my
wow,
producer, I promise you that.
wow.
This is some craziness. Well, I'm glad I've got you, Jack.
Well, and I have to say that all of this information concerning the Beast of Bray Road has really affected my own dogman investigations. In fact, I consider it almost revolutionary for the field of cryptozoology in and of itself, because there's been 3 different cryptozoological encounters that we're aware of dealing with all of this, and 2 of those were on Skinwalker Ranch. One was in the form of a dire wolf, the second in the form of what they call the dino beaver. It was a prehistoric beaver-looking creature that ran across the property. And then you have this dogman encounter. So you have 3 different cryptozoological encounters having to deal with this much wider paranormal phenomenon that's taking place. So for me as a cryptozoologist, it has complicated matters quite a bit. And I'm investigating a dogman case in Oklahoma that's over 20 years old. And this was a case given to me by an actual private investigator who came by a knowledge of a headstone in one of the rural cemeteries in a town called Konawa, Oklahoma, a tiny little town, south central Oklahoma. And the headstone reads, "Murdered by Human Wolves." And it dates to 1886, right? So
Wow.
right. And so the private investigator gave me this file, right? This 2-inch thick file of stuff that she had accumulated over a 20-year period. And she became so obsessed with the case, she moved to the town of Konawa, had harrowing experience with what she believed to be a dogman or werewolf cult of some kind that actually threatened her life. And
Oh gosh, I just looked it right up. I'm
yeah,
listening as you're talking. This is crazy.
right. And it's Catherine Cross. So
Yeah.
a rumor by a lot of different people that she was killed by the doctor performing an illegal abortion. But there was never any evidence for that ever offered. And the one trial where they tried to convict the doctor of doing something to her, he was acquitted. So, and it's fascinating. So this town of Konawa, even today, has a very small population. You can imagine in the late 1800s how small the population was. I have a picture of the entire town posing for a picture.
Yeah.
And there's like 96 of them altogether. And you have to ask yourself, late 1800s, rural Oklahoma, community of less than 100 people, what does it take for them to carve into the headstone of one of their beloved, young, she was pretty young,
Restart phone.
Is fascinating to me. And not only that, so that wasn't the only headstone discovered. That's what's fascinating, is 2 others have been discovered in an overgrown cemetery also with that inscription. So we don't know what to make of it, other than I've got eyewitnesses reporting dogman encounters all through that area.
Wow, this is insane. I'm looking at it. Words on the stone. Doctor fired. Catherine Cross is most memorable for the epitaph, murdered by human wolves. In the continuation of her sad story, the gravestone was stolen in 2016.
Mm-hmm. It's been stolen a few times, actually.
So this happened she died 1917. She was born in 1899.
1899, yeah.
Catherine Cross. Many legends surrounding her death, including a fictional account by the novel written by Stephen Weddell. An arrest and charge of first-degree murder was made against Dr. Yates, Konawa.
Mm-hmm.
Konawa, physician, for performing what is believed to be an abortion on Catherine, who was 3 months pregnant. The father of the child was Fred O'Neill, and he was married principal of the Vamusa school.
Yeah, and see, none of that was proven true at all. It's just written there. Nobody knows who the father of the baby was, and it definitely wasn't ever proven to be Fred O'Neill.
Yeah.
And so it's a fascinating case.
It is.
And in 2 other rural cemeteries, there's apparently 2 other headstones that read the same thing, and one of them is a male. So,
well, he wasn't pregnant. So.
No. And, we've
Ever since you've had problems with the printer, my fucking signal's been...
Uh-oh.
They're having fun.
They're fighting with the technology here.
But check out this eyewitness. So I've got an eyewitness, and his name is Michael Grayhawk, Native American in Konawa. And he claims that one night on a rural road, he heard some rustling of some bushes. And this thing comes running out of the bushes. He described it as looking like a naked human man on all 4s, but with an elongated face that took 2 or 3 strides and loped right over a barbed wire fence on the other side of the road. And it just scared the living crap out of him, as you can imagine.
Yeah, that would have done it to me, no doubt.
Right. And so this private investigator had an encounter where she came home one night to find an email in her email box claiming from somebody claiming to be an eyewitness to dogmen encounters, and wanted to talk to her and meet her at the local cemetery where these headstones were. And she reluctantly agrees to do so. And he went by the name Lycanthrope 666 was
Lord
email screen name. And she gets one of her male buddies to show up there, and she's armed because she's spooked out. And they're in the cemetery, and they set up cameras. By the way, she sets up a camera at the entrance to the cemetery. She wants to record anybody coming and leaving. And they wait, and it gets darker and darker. And all of a sudden, she tells me, they start to hear the howling of wolves. And the howling gets louder and louder and louder to the point where it really spooks them. And they take off, and she grabs her camera on the way out of the cemetery, right? And they go back to the motel where she's living at this stage, investigating this case. And they review the camera, and she can see shadows passing behind the camera. So there's somebody present behind the camera of this cemetery, wooded cemetery that they were in. And then she gets an email, dink, in her box, and it's from Lycanthrope 666. And he says, "We saw you and your friend at the cemetery this evening. Did you like the way me and my friend sing? Would you like us to do it again?" And really put the fear of God into her, because she knew that these were real wolves. This weren't humans making that noise. So it really, really scared her. So that case has been given to me, and I've been investigating it ever since. And so even today, I'm collecting dogman encounters in that area.
Good. So much to learn from. So I'm going to stop for just a second, and I'm going to pull a card for you. Just a random card, Jack. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. This one, I got to take my glasses off, is sea creatures. Okay?
All right.
And what that means is that you need to immerse yourself. Okay? You need to immerse yourself, because that is when you're the happiest.
It is, actually.
And in your knowledge of things, all things unique. And let's see. I'm going to read you the poem that goes with this, because it's always so cool.
Cool.
I love them. So this controversy, this is so crazy. I closed my eyes and just pulled it out. Wait, I got it backwards. So the controversy means you're not sure what to deem as truth. It's like you've been fed false news, and you know that somebody tried to make it true. Shamans use plant medicine and journeying work to induce visions and heighten clarity. Plant medicine is a far cry from synthetic pills and potions abundant today. But when plant medicine is passed to you, you have the option to accept it or reject the remedy. You want your life to remain as it is, or are you ready to really see the truth? My God, this is crazy.
Wow.
And it says, the veil between the worlds is ready to be torn down so that you can discover which is deliberately hidden.
Wow.
I'm reading this. This isn't me. Now, I could try.
Wow.
I could. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's amazing, because that's what my whole life has been about.
I know, and this is you, man. Fully investigate a matter before making any agreement, and it's time to leave an unhealthy situation. Check in with and trust your intuition. Someone is hiding something from you. Well, of course, we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not someone, it's an entity, it's a whole organization. Admit
Yeah.
the truth. Admit the truth as you want to reveal it. Live your truth. This is like you. Oh my God.
I know. That is.
Okay, so here's the poem. Awaken as I take you deep. My truth reveals you've been asleep. You'll see the world with bright new eyes. Assist those who still live in lies.
Wow. I love it.
That was so cool.
That was cool. It's amazing how that works.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
That's so crazy.
That is. It's really cool.
All right. So did Blaine make it back, or is he still struggling? Okay, we'll figure that out later. We'll do go live with him, and we'll practice or something.
Right.
So tell me about your new projects. Or tell me how your website's going too. You have a channel.
I do. So you can always reach me at paraintelagency.com for any of you out there with cases that you would like me to look into or photographs you would like me to examine. I'm always happy to lend my expertise in those areas. That is where I publish all my latest and greatest research and findings and reports. So you can find it there on the website. You can also come over to my YouTube channel, which is Paranormal Intelligence Agency, and you will find 77 videos now of in-depth research. The videos I produce, I present all of the best evidence available for any given paranormal subject, and present it in a linear, logical form for people to understand. So
That's great. Okay, so I see something on your channel that I've been studying. Once again, we have a serendipitous moment. I'll make that a word. The Enoch Code.
Yes.
The Enoch Code runs through the ancient mysteries of Earth like a fingerprint. It derives from a profound interaction between humanity and a non human intelligence, and this interaction resulted in the formation of the ancient mystery schools and the encoding of the secret teachings of Enoch's Watchers.
That's right.
So that's just a little tidbit of what he has on his website, paraintelligenceagency.com. He has links on there about you can subscribe, which I highly recommend. But the UFO crash retrieval, the witness speaks to Congress. Yes, I said Congress. The new intelligence on the hitchhiker effect, which we've been discussing tonight. There's 2 articles about that. And then the Enoch Code that I just teased you with. This is the next global cataclysm, okay? The lost secrets of the Anunnaki and the secret tomb of the Watchers, decoding that about Enoch. And if you have not read the Apocrypha, including the Book of Enoch, I highly suggest that to you.
Absolutely. And the Enoch Code is my 20-year investigation into the fact that the Enochian interaction with the Watchers really created the world's ancient mystery schools, and that was later resurrected during the French occult revival by a man named Eliphas Levi, and that leads into this huge, amazing mystery about the lost tomb of one of the Anunnaki princes, Enki, the lost tomb of Enki himself. And I believe that this code, actually found in many ancient paintings, by the way, tells the secret to where the lost tomb is actually located. So,
wow.
And it's not where most people would think, but it's in an amazing place. It's actually an amazing place that has 5 naturally occurring mountain peaks that form a perfect geometric pentagram down to the foot.
Are you serious? That's so great.
5 mountain, right? And in the center of these 5 mountain peaks is a triangular field. I'll pique everybody's interest here. And in this triangular field is a giant winged serpent that's been inscribed in the dirt itself. What's interesting about that is that the winged serpent inside of a triangle is the Egyptian hieroglyph for Sirius.
Oh, wow.
And right beneath this field is the lost tomb of Enki. And that secret was actually inscribed in in a collection of poems that was deposited in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris around the turn of the century. Published, by the way, in secret. Whoever published these poems knew where the entrance to the tomb was. So my book walks you through all of those clues. Talks about the knowledge left by the Anunnaki about the next global cataclysm that will occur, and it talks about a lot of the other lost secrets that the Anunnaki left in the mystery schools themselves. So.
There's Blaine. He's trying. It's been a crazy night for connections. I think there's so much that needs to be discovered about. We actually have. Oh goodness. I was trying to think of the name of the tunnels. We have found a tunnel in my hometown. I'm trying to get the the ability to go in there and try to do some investigation.
Right. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. The oh my God, I'm trying to remember the name of it. A lot of people are saying they really like the cards. Let me try to pull you another one since that other one was so crazy.
Yeah, those cards are beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. Someone just said on here they feel like people are starting to awaken, and it's just amazing that people are starting to.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
and there's more serendipitous moments. I'm just gonna make that a word. There was a lady that I was going down the road, beautiful little white dog in the road. So sad. I said, "Oh my God, he's going to get hit." Two cars ahead of me were, darting, 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 trying to get in and trying to get by, and the dog turned and went another direction and nearly got hit. I mean, he nearly got hit several times, but that one time was really scary. And, so I just stopped my car, threw on the hazards, and went out and chased this little dog. He went up to his house, but the house door was locked. And, the kitty cat, his little buddy, came over, and I petted the cat. So the dog said, "Oh, you must be okay if the cat will let you pet it." And, I took the dog home
Oh
because
wow!
I wasn't gonna have it get hit. And the
Sure.
lady behind me said, I think I know that lady. I'm gonna start texting people on social media that know her." And she said she was gonna try to get it all taken care of. Well, I got home and sat with him a minute and got him something to drink, and then somebody called. And well, as it turns out, she just moved to the area. We knew each other by name only, and she brought me a gift. She gave me this beautiful necklace.
Oh wow! How cool!
And yeah, she gave me some orbs, some little made of stone,
Nice.
some different jasper and things like that. And I've made a really great friend doing something great for this little dog. And I thought,
That's
well, I hope more people learn to do nice things because it puts them in position of blessing.
yes. That's so true.
Okay, so here we go. I'm pushing my luck, because that other one was so you.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was
that was crazy.
great.
Okay, now let's see what this. I don't think I've ever pulled this one. The shapeshifter.
Oh my God!
That's crazy, is it not?
Crazy.
Oh my lord. So the shapeshifter is also about perspective. That
Wow.
person that is a shapeshifter, you're really one person, but there's another side of you that is more real. And as you're learning, I would say, as you are digging deeper into these topics of the unknown, that's more of the, because you're the forensic
Yeah,
scientist in a lot of this, archaeologist, hunter. So let me see what the book says because it was just so spot on. I mean, I could
that's pretty cool.
tell you what I know, but I mean, we are talking about this very thing, and these cards are crazy.
That is.
So understanding a troubled situation in your life, you see things from a totally different perspective. Shapeshifting helps you do this by taking on qualities of a power animal. You'll see or hear what is being conveyed to enhance your clarity. Choose an animal that suits your current needs as a lion for strength, or a dove for peace, or a wolf for protection. And to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and focus on the animal's characteristics. I really believe that's how
Yeah.
shapeshifters shift. I
Oh
really
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Well, and then when you take in those characteristics in a deep breath and you focus, you breathe them into the very being. I really feel like this is how it happens. Okay,
Yeah.
as you continue, you'll become one with the animal and be taken on a visual journey.
That's neat. That's like almost like astral projection. You're
Yes, but you're through the eyes of this creature.
right. Take
And
the
the insight, well, isn't that what indigenous people did with these
yeah.
types of spirit animals they created?
Yeah.
So that
Absolutely.
they could see what's there. I mean, it was the spiritual equivalent to a ring device. Not only can they see what's going on, but they're able to record it and then even respond. It's
It's
crazy.
fascinating. Yeah.
So, a smooth transformation back into your own mind and body is assured in an understanding of how you can resolve your dilemma. I think this thing is telling you maybe the best way to know the truth about all of this is to try to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And try to understand and meditate on it. You know,
Yeah. Sorry, y'all. Finally got back in.
that's
We
all
can
right.
hear you, Blaine. We got you.
You know,
So
there's
it's
a tradition of Scottish witches being able to conjure up a dark horse in the middle of the night to trample their enemies to death. Hence the word nightmare. That's where
oh.
that's where it comes from. Um,
Okay, well, interesting you said that because that's what's next in the book as well. It says the epic of Gilgamesh, the Iliad, the Norse sagas, and the Celtic legends describe a metamorphosis from a deity or human into an animal for the purpose of employing its physical and sensory talents as well as protection. And then it talks more along the lines of this sort of like Harry Potter. So it's telling you whichever form you choose to take, bear, butterfly, wolf, or snake, the medicine will speak to you of what is must you now must do.
wow,
I
that's
think that's a hint. If you
yeah,
decide
I
to
do
do
too.
this, let me know. I'll do
Yeah,
it with
that's
you
fascinating.
somehow. It's cool.
No, that is really
Oh, wow. It's getting more and more. Yeah, serendipitous. She said,
cool.
that is serendipitous.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is
boy.
serendipitous. It is absolutely.
Gosh, maybe I should try that.
And you know, all of the shapeshifter cryptozoology cases that we worked in the Navajo Indian Reservation is also fascinating.
That's insane. Oh my goodness. And another one says, don't you love when the cards speak so clearly and are spot on? And he's telling me that he uses the dark light deck. That's cool.
That's neat. Yeah,
Very cool.
that is neat.
So, you were saying something about your newest project, and
Oh,
I interrupted you.
no, that's quite all right. So I just appeared at the Kayamishi Mountain Bigfoot Conference
I saw that.
2 days, and that was great. And I presented some video of what we are calling a Bigfoot kill pit. We don't know what else to call it. And there was a credentialed and published scientist there named Mitchell Townsend who was able to collect some bones from some Bigfoot hotspot areas that had a lot of recent activity. These bones were piled in different areas, right? Very, very strange because most animals don't pile bones. And when his team examined the bones, they found tooth markings. Well, these were the right people because these are the people that have recovered ancient bones and have been able to positively match tooth markings to various species of humans throughout our prehistoric past, or what they call a relic hominin species, right? So, for instance, they can take like a woolly mammoth bone and there's a tooth mark on there, and they can match that tooth mark perfectly to a prehistoric human of some kind,
Oh
whether
my
it be
gosh.
Heidelbergensis or Neanderthal, what have you. Each hominin species developed a very, very unique kind of tooth, and that tooth leaves a very distinct mark on the bones when they're left behind. So they're able to pick up a bone, look at it, and say, "Yep, this was Heidelbergensis." Next one they look at, "Yep, this was a Neanderthal." Next one they look at, this was Homo whatever, Floresiensis. So it was fascinating because these were fresh bones, and they found the tooth markings, and the tooth markings were not modern human, and they weren't any animal known in the forest. And the closest that they came up with was Neanderthal.
Wow. Well, that's
Right,
what that is. Oh my gosh, that's
right.
insanity.
Insanity. So when I saw this, my head just exploded because me and my team just discovered what might be the biggest Bigfoot bone pile kill pit ever. We found over 12 wild boar carcasses, deer, an elk, a horse. All of them had been bludgeoned to death.
Oh my God.
They had been
Really?
bludgeoned in the head, and that was the exact finding of him and his team with the skulls that they discovered. So we're in the process of now going back to recover all of those bones for his team to examine them. And this is in the Ouachita and Kiamichi Mountains of southeastern Oklahoma. And most people don't realize that Oklahoma has really big, heavily forested mountains that go off into the southern Ozarks and across the Arkansas border, Louisiana border. So that is a major project that I'm on. And at the same time, we discovered a dolmen, if you know what that is. It's 3 rocks with a gigantic table rock set on top of it.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
looked like a possible grave site.
Oh my God.
And we were told that grave sites should exist on one of these ridges. Now, this is Choctaw territory, Choctaw land, and there is a tale of a Choctaw warrior, and guess what his name was?
What?
J.J. LaFleur was his name.
LaFleur.
Yeah, and it's in LaFleur County where this is taking place. And it's fascinating to me because my grandfather was Choctaw. And
Oh, wow.
my family has always called me JJ. My name is Jack Jeffrey, so I go by JJ.
Oh,
Yeah,
go by JJ.
you guys call me Jack, but you can call me JJ because that's really what I go by. So
Oh my gosh. Carol said that she's sitting here with her jaw hanging open, hitting the floor. What a discovery. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, right. And
That is
so
crazy.
this area is reputedly an area where J.J. LaFleur and his band of warriors had a battle with a clan of Bigfoot because they were stealing children from the tribe. And this is something that was recorded in their oral history. And this is an area where you might find a gravesite.
Man.
So,
That's crazy. Oh my
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, so that's my current project right now this summer, is to go back to finally recover all of those bones and to basically try to get a small crane in there to upend this dolmen so that we can see what's actually underneath. So because this was done in a heavily wooded ridge of an area where it would just be almost impossible for somebody to have gotten some kind of heavy machinery in there.
Well, I'm going to do a quick paranormal news. I've been trying to do paranormal news network and talk about
Cool.
where in the world. So I was going to ask you about where in the world are you and where have you been? You told me about your really cool conference that you spoke at. So I'm going to get to my format soon, but Blaine not being here is not easy to. He's trying, but we're having some technical failure. I just wanted to say though, I am looking at the UFO sighting map as of right now, and a UFO is actually reported over Virginia, one in Washington D.C., 1, 2, 3, 4 across Texas. Yeah, we've got a really, a lot going on. The facing northeast appeared to be a statuesque cross like a UFO. Then it broke and it went to a triangular hovering. So these things are doing some fancy maneuvers over there in Texas. The Kelly Hopkinsville encounter is where it was claimed that close encounters with an extraterrestrial being, and it matches up with the case of 1955 where Kelly in Hopkinsville it's called Christian County, Kentucky of the United States, and it lines up with that particular sighting, and it's happening now.
Wow.
UFO with flashing lights investigated by jets. Here's that one happening, and then here's one in Seattle, Washington. 3 blue lights and 1 large orange light in the sky over Mount. I can't see that. I got my glasses on, so I can't see it very well. Rainer, maybe Rainer.
Yeah.
So got a lot of things going on out there. A lot of unknown sightings of unknown lights in the sky.
It's amazing.
I wonder if there's a map of sightings of Bigfoot. Do you know of anything?
Oh yeah, there's interactive maps of them. Even the BFRO Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization has
Okay.
an interactive sighting map. Although it's kind of been not updated in the last year or two, it still has thousands of sightings that have been listed on it.
The North American Wood Ape Conservancy. I can't
Yeah,
talk today. I just can't talk.
I tell you, since you brought up the sighting map, my one of my presentations, I did a presentation each day at the conference, but my presentation that Saturday was on Bigfoot's possible role in the many missing people in the national park system. And I've discovered that when you take David Paulides' missing 411 cases, his missing map, interactive map, and you place that over a map of all of the cave systems in North America, they're a spot-on match.
I saw that. I saw her. She took a transparency and the map and she overlaid.
Right, and then you take
bang.
right, and then you take a sighting map of Bigfoot and you lay it on top of those two, and all three are a spot-on match.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Unbelievable. When I saw that, I just couldn't believe it. She's on a show. I've been doing a lot of researching, and I'll have something playing while I'm working. Okay, so this happened January of this year. Husband and wife observe a massive figure at the back of property. This is in Oklahoma, and they actually, it was at 7:15, and they were in their car, and they saw when they pulled up into the driveway, headlights hit a reverse silhouette, and it was about 100 yards away. And they said it was sort of a gray tan or maybe a light brown because of how the lights hit it. And there was this huge 7'6", something like that, size figure, and it moved really quickly into the woods.
What town was that?
It was Cleveland County.
Interesting.
And then the next one was really interesting. Of course, Texas. They get all the fun. The next one is Atoka.
Okay.
And that one, two NAWAC investigators find tracks. They found tracks in the Atoka County into the woods. There were Marvin Leeper and John Harrell, Harrell, Hairell. They were patrolling the backwoods of the Atoka County near southeast Oklahoma, and they had their dash cams on, and they were able to see. And they, went back and looked at the footage. There were prints. There were about 36 inches.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in distance, the footprint was 12 inches long and 4.5 inches wide at the ball of the foot, and 3.5 inches at the heel. But the stride was 36 inches. So that should tell you that's a pretty tall creature there. But men did say that there are people there that were kind of weighing in on this. They said that it had a mid-tarsal break, and the track varied the depths because of the soil softness and that type of thing. So there's a variation of about 0.25 inches to 3 inches in variation between one track to the next.
Wow.
But they did get a plaster cast of it, mostly of the left foot. The right foot was more disturbed than the left.
Interesting.
A number of prints, and then there's pictures to go with it. I am on this incredible site that I was lucky to find. It's called Encounter Reports Database, North American Wood Ape Conservancy, NAWAC, North American Wood Ape Conservancy.
They were the group that successfully got the hair tag. A Sasquatch actually picked up a hair tag off of a bush that they had planted, and they were able to track it for a number of weeks.
Good God.
And they call it tag number 7. People can look that up and look up their findings on it, but they were able to basically get a good view of how much territory one of these creatures can cover in a day and how wide their food sources were.
Okay,
So,
here's one in Panola, Texas. That was earlier this year.
wow.
The daughter-in-law saw a Bigfoot cross the road in front of her on the way to work at about 5:15 in the morning out of CARY, Texas.
Wow.
And she knew it wasn't a black bear because it was upright like a human.
Uh-huh.
And she talked to a game warden to see if they had any activity out there to see what was going on. And he said that there had been in the past several months. So they had never had an experience like that. So that's
Wow.
pretty crazy. So
Yeah, that is very interesting. We're getting so close.
so close is right.
So close.
Well, now that we are close to the end of the show, it's 8:21. I'm just gonna start giving a little information. I'm going to be appearing at the Gettysburg Bash. Um, it's going to be so much fun. The Gettysburg Paranormal Bash, and they're
Yeah.
doing Christmas in July. Pam and Steve are great folks. They do this every year for, I don't know how. Okay, so I just got a message. Jeff and Maria can hear now, so we're going to try to bring them back. But Christmas in July, it's July the 14th through the 16th, and it's a weekend of hope and healing. And so it's the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash at the Wyndham, and it benefits Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors, H4H Foundation. So if you guys are interested in attending, please reach Pam and Barry at pamandbarry@yahoo.com. They've got tickets left, and they're going to have train rides. They're doing sleigh rides and pictures of all kinds of fun things. And like I said, Christmas in July. It's going to be fun.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
and then the next one I wanted to make sure I told you guys about is the Deep South Para Comic Con that's put together with Stan and Teresa Fikes. It's in Alabama, and it's only 74 days, 12 hours, 35 minutes, and 21 seconds away. You could you could go to Deep South Para Comic Con to buy your tickets. They've got some great people that's going to be speaking. I'll be there. See, I'm great. Yay. There's Teresa Fikes, Charles Campbell, my husband Matthew, Sonia Thompson. She is a walker from The Walking Dead. Blaine Rohan will be there. Jonathan Odom, who is also a cryptozoologist. The Fox Family Paranormal, which is Destiny and Michael Fox, among others. David Childers and Santiago Cirillo. Miranda Young, the ghost biker, sweet girl and beautiful. She's going to be there. She always does a great job at, speaking. Jeremy Leonard from 28 Days Haunted and the Ghosts of Morgan City. Maria Player and Jeff Leeper, of whom I will be bringing back on shortly. We have Nick Simons from 28 Days Haunted also. So there's a lot of people going to be there, and it's going to be a great show. Let's see if we can bring Maria back real quick. They can hear and everything's well. Well, add to stream. Add to stream. I got it that time. Hey guys, so you can hear now. Everything's better.
What?
Yes.
You turkey. You turkey. So, all right. So tell me what you think about what you've seen so far that we were able to tell you about possibilities.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is all new to me. I mean, I've read about it, I've studied it for years and years and years, but having it come right up in my face like that, I mean, you don't know what crazy is until a dog talks to you.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, he's questioning his sanity.
You've always questioned my sanity.
Maybe, but extra more.
Well, with these kinds of
been
things
insane.
happening, with all these things
Yeah.
happening to Jeff, and then seeing these really cool. There's Ginger. She says hi,
Yeah.
everybody.
Hi, Ginger.
I thought maybe a spiritual um, explanation would be helpful. Look, I'm gonna pull cards for you two. You've been playing tag back and forth trying to be able to hear. So I'm going to give you something good. Okay, this is going to be for the both of you. I have no idea what I'm going to give
Something.
you, but who would ever think that what I pulled for Jack would have? I got a Jeff and a Jack. I got to watch it, right? But he got the shapeshifter card the second time, and the first time it was sea creatures, but it was telling him to dig deep,
That's
and
cool.
so it's all about what he does. I love what you do there. I really do.
That's awesome.
So proud of you. Okay, here we go. I have no idea what I've got here. Okay. Oh, all right. This makes sense. This is called the middle world. Okay, see the beautiful horse?
Mhm.
It's not quite in the flesh, it's not quite in spirit, right? So I'm going to read because obviously it's better for me to read these cards after what reading I got with Jack. It was unbelievable. So twice in a
Yeah.
row. Okay, I got to take these
That was
off.
the
I'm
good
going to read. So this is about the Middle Earth. Where is Middle World?
one.
Middle Earth. It's not
Mid-North.
different story. That's about it's a movie. The middle world wants you to remember you have come from as well as where you reside now. The responsibilities that middle world brings can be a struggle, and sometimes you find it hard to cope or have feelings of not belonging. Have you felt as if you are a stranger on this planet or wished you could just go home? Middle world understands and respects your desire to journey to other dimensions. Are you longing to enhance your connection with the spirit, or are you seeking to escape from the spirit world? Oh God, this is crazy. To,
Wow.
to balance and harmonize with the web of life, it's important to acknowledge you reside in the physical world. The middle world is full of rituals, tribulations, blessings, and achievements. You're here to learn and to flower. Journey to the lower and upper worlds of the tree of life to access wisdom and healing abilities, which I've always told you were a healer. Bring them back here to your home in the middle world. So it says you live in the middle world, which is the physical, but you are able to see in between. Okay.
Oh, geez.
Hey, Blaine, bless his heart. He's been trying so hard. So you are in present time traveling through the physical landscape. Restore your balance and embrace all that is seen and unseen. Holy crap, is this not crazy?
Wow.
Our here and now is largely based on media information, much of which creates an illusion of separation. Many perceive the present as only the reality around us that's open to us. But the truth is, our present that has been created is not without roots and branches, and do not become lost in the middle world of paradoxes. Look ahead to the branches and be mindful to tend to your roots. Stop living in the past. Boy, this is really for Jeff, this part, isn't it, Maria? Your
It sure is.
desire, your desire for yesteryear is holding you back. Fears for the future do not serve you well. Uh, Release your worries and make a list of all that you're grateful for. Meditate to help your focus on the present. Striking a balance between these two worlds and these two roles in your life is key. So basically, it's saying that you are able to see both, okay? The place that you reside is here, upon the earth realm. Have no fear. Live from betwixt and in between. Connect with all, seen and unseen.
Wow.
Ah,
Wow.
wow, that was insane.
That's great.
So I think that's a bit of a confirmation that where Maria lives is a magical place,
It
and
is.
that
It is.
she's got someone there with her that can see things. And I'm just trying to bring an indigenous and even a scientific standpoint of what you may be experiencing. Uh, you know, hopefully we'll be able to find out.
Well,
So,
Lee,
thank
I,
God you guys
I
can
want
hear
to
the
call.
message.
I want to call upon your gifts for a minute. I've asked you for help already because this stuff is driving me out of my mind.
I can imagine.
I liked my life a lot better before I croaked, but but I have been speaking with a lady, a very elegant lady, and she showed up when Maria and I were doing the rosary, the other night.
That is such an amazing thing to do the rosary. I started experiencing that, moment, and to go through each one of those beads
Oh yeah.
is so incredible. So I'm sure you guys were generating lots of energy, connection to this, spirit world, as you do in any prayer. And so she was able to make herself known to you at that point.
Oh, I, she doesn't tell me stuff. She tells me little things, little like
Phrases or words, an image, or just, it's never a clear cut sentence or message. He's trying to piece the stuff together, and it's driving him crazy.
I can
And
imagine.
me too, because he thinks it's my grandma, and I'm like,
well, I know it's your grandma.
okay,
I know it.
okay.
She said it was, hey, I'm her grandma. Did she say
Well,
it?
the thing she says it definitely sounds like her. It sounds like it looks like her. The things she says, it does appear to be her.
She won't come out and say things because she gave me a question to ask her, and she gets this little half smile like Mona Lisa and doesn't give me nothing.
Well, I
sounds
will
like
tell
it,
you
yeah.
this. You can't really, friends here are saying hello to David, from David to Jeff and Maria.
Oh,
And
well,
there we go. Hey, David. Yeah, he's doing great. David's doing great.
Glad to hear
Okay,
that.
so what I wanted to tell you, oftentimes the spirit world does not want to meddle in current affairs. I mean, if she came right out and said, "Hey, Maria's grandma, and this is what I think of you, and this is what I want her to do, this is what I want you to do," because she's lived her life.
Mhm.
She's lived her life, and she's probably pretty chill. Lots of times, people that have lived a very rewarding life, they don't come back and want to make a big impact on what's here. Lots of times, they'll tell you they want to rest, and they're here to tell you they love you. So short messages make it easier. But I would say that I have very rarely been able to get a full message from a spirit unless it was something like, "Oh my God, do not get in that car," or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's hard. It's really hard. So I think that you are probably going to need to continue to grow, and you and Maria need to put yourself in a position where no matter what is said at that communication, it's not going to do anything but protect what you already know, or you're able to give her love. I don't want you guys to feel like, she's her words are incredibly important because she's grandma, but it's not so great in that you don't want to have a spirit that would masquerade as grandma and say something
Yeah.
dastardly to you guys and put you on the wrong track. So
Mhm.
give it yourselves a chance to get to know the spirit, and you'll know what to do when the time comes.
She just started showing up at Maria's house.
Yeah. Well, maybe she wants to do the rosary with you guys. So, Carol's asking, have you asked to receive knowledge from your guides? Have you done that? I just threw something in the floor, excuse me.
Can you read that?
Have you worked with guides before? Have you asked to receive knowledge from your guides? That does make a difference. If you haven't said,
Not really.
I want to hear your message. So, um, you probably
Oh, maybe
need
we
to.
read that.
Hey,
Somewhat.
Blake,
Somewhat.
I see you. Peekaboo. Bless his heart. He has tried so hard. I hate he's having trouble. So, what I would suggest is for you to put a parameter up. I know you remember me telling you about the man in blue. That's in my the first story in my book of family spirit. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you. But my grandmother told me, and I'm going to tell you just like her. Um, if a spirit wants to show itself to you, tell it how you want to see it, and how you want to communicate, and that you're open to receiving a message, and see how it presents itself. If it turns out to be something that is unwelcome, you can always tell by the way that it presents itself and the things that it says.
Oh yeah.
Trust your instincts, and then you know when to. Oops, excuse me, not my computer. You know how to get rid of something that's not wanted. But I do have a great feeling about this. Getting a good message from her grandmother would be wonderful. When I go to Gettysburg, I'm going to see these two, and I'm going to be able to
Yeah,
meet her mother and everything. I'm so excited. So,
Yeah, it's gonna
Blaine,
be good. We
Blaine,
miss
I
you
hope
guys.
you can get on. Oh, I miss you too. I look at the pictures of when we last ate together and everything, and it's like, ah, that was so much fun. It's too long ago.
You know what? You know what?
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 Uh-oh.
Somebody
A little bit
here
frozen.
about yeah. Maria said she wants to get rid of 200 pounds of ugly fat, so she locked me out.
Oh no. Oh
Oh,
no.
those
Can you hear us
napkins.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And she just heard it.
You guys are so amazing.
That's a bad joke. Seriously, a
So,
lot of weight.
yeah,
Biggest
these
he's
two,
ever been. Oh,
aw, I
okay,
guess you could
try
tell
it
that
again.
these
So
two,
when we get down there for the
okay. Well, we've got the last 30 minutes, and we usually do a suicide prevention video at this point. So, thank you for coming back on, and I love you both dearly. And this next part of this, and I hope you don't mind helping me with this, Jack. I would love to have Blaine. Um, I'm not necessarily mentoring Jeff. I mean, Jeff is an expert and has gone to school to be a demonologist. But with his new abilities coming on and the things that he's asking me and things he's experiencing, yeah, I guess you would call it mentoring. He's got an amazing ability, and it's just getting stronger. Just getting stronger. Okay, Mr. Producer Man, go ahead and hit it with the video. This is very difficult to watch, but I want you to see what our soldiers and people with PTSD are dealing with. It's going to come on in just a second. What we're trying to do is bring we're trying to get people to understand what it's like for soldiers and what's happening with the VA and what parameters the VA is having to work with. There's just a lot of trouble, and Brandon does a lot of work with this. Um, Go ahead, Brandon. Do you have it? Can you play it or no? If you can, it's okay. Hard to say. Oh, here we go. Suicide awareness. Okay, hold on just a second. We'll work with him in a minute. This video is about a gentleman who is he's a veteran, and the things that he's had to deal with, he's just going to describe it. You can tell by his expression that he's just outdone. So what this gentleman, bless his heart, what he's saying is that he was at the VA, he was getting help. He had one of his counselors basically talked him off the ledge to keep him from committing suicide, and everything was looking great, and he was doing better. And then when when the VA got back in touch with him, one of the doctors that had helped him so much had refused to talk to him and refused to have him as a patient. And now his problem is that he can't be seen by the same doctors, that the VA has doctors that are committed only for a short period of time.
Mm.
And he has to go back through the whole thing over again to tell these new doctors what's wrong with him. He's been off of his medication for over 2 years. He hasn't been able to get any prescriptions filled. And,
Wow.
going through all of this transition, here he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know why things are being so difficult today on StreamYard. So he's just saying that he doesn't understand why he's having to go back through this again and again. This whole process. Here we go. Oh goodness.
Because they
Hmm.
found out and then they together.
I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but the whole point of that is to say that none of this is. It's more about what can be afforded by the government. What is the budget? How much can they afford? It's not about the soldier, and it's not about um, the patient.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to bring awareness about that. I'm not as good talking about this as Blaine and Brandon, because the two of them are veterans, and Brandon particularly is a veteran um, um, advocate. So the suicide prevention statistics are very sad. The Center of Disease Control talks about is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States, and in
Come on.
2000, Blaine, we hear you, honey. Blaine, Blaine, we
I
hear
can't
you,
hear
honey.
y'all. We're very low, and I can't get nothing to work. I am livid right now.
I know you are. We hear you. Okay, so the statistics are that in 2021 there were 48,183 suicides. And in 2021 there was an estimated 1.7 million suicide attempts.
Wow.
So trying to prevent suicide means if you look at videos on TikTok or YouTube or Twitch or whatever about people that have PTSD or even shell shock, people used to call it. There's a lot that can be done with therapy, training, and but it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes medication. Oops, excuse me again. It takes time, medication, and this should not be happening. This should not be happening. I feel like this was like a part of a grand reset during our time where we were uh, quarantined into our homes because nothing was being done. And now people would rather sit at home and play on their phone than they had to do their job. And it really bothers me.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be happening to people that have put their lives on hold for our freedom. And these people needed to be able to come home and get help. So in 2021, men died by suicide 3.9 times more than women. And on the average, there's 132 suicides per day in the United States. We've got a real bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, can you come on for us? Is he around, Rex? There he is.
Yeah, I'm
Can you
here.
I know that we're doing our best to get poor Blaine on. This is really something he wanted to lead, but in the circumstances, we just got to get the message out. So could you tell? Thank you, Christopher. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he said I'm doing a good job. I appreciate it. So, can you tell us a bit about the program that you lead? As a as
Yes, sir.
a go ahead, help me out.
So there's several programs that I work with. I'm on the board of directors of two veteran nonprofits. I work as a mentor with Sacred Mountain Retreat Center, but there's so many other programs that veterans and first responders can get involved in uh, to help with the PTSD and the depression. I myself have severe PTSD. I'm a 100% disabled combat veteran. I've been through the suicide attempts. I've been through the alcoholism. I've been there. I've seen it. Um, I'll keep trying to get Blaine up. But if you're having trouble, you can reach out. There's a veterans crisis line. You can dial 988, and you'll be connected with the crisis line. Uh, it never it's it never hurts to call and just try to reach out. If you don't feel like calling, you can text 988 and you can do a text chat. I mean, there's plenty of ways to get out there. I wouldn't be sitting here today if I hadn't reached out for help. I would be one of the statistics. And if you need to just talk to anybody, you can call me, you can call Lee, you can call
Absolutely.
Blaine, you can call Rex, you can call anybody. Just pick up the phone. I'd rather talk to you for 3 hours than read a 5 minute eulogy.
And
So
then the truth.
we're we're all here, but you got to reach out. They're not going to know to come rescue you unless you pop smoke. So it's never too late to call 988. I know that sounds stupid, but it'll get it stuck in your head. Trust me, and it'll be there when you need it. Uh, Suicide's an ugly thing to discuss, but we need to talk about it. We need to get rid of the stigma about talking about it because if you keep it bottled up inside, uh, you may make the wrong decision.
And we're going to
Uh,
make good choices tonight.
let's see if Blaine can
Can you get
come
on,
in here.
Blaine?
I don't know if y'all can hear me.
We
Yeah,
can.
we can hear you.
I
Yep.
am livid. I have been kicked off. All right, my internet's been going in and out. And Jeff, if you don't come pick up your little demon kids, I'm gonna beat their ass. I'm already pissed. I've already sent Baron Wolf and Jana watch them. I thought about 1.5 million tribes, and they pissed me off that bad.
Yeah, we got
So
a
you
little
got something coming, you little fuckers.
Well,
Sorry, I'm pissed.
I can
I missed
tell.
3/4 of the show that I wanted to do tonight, and they fucked up everything tonight. I'm
Well,
livid. So they're
we
fixing
are
to get
at
their asses whooped.
we have got we're at the suicide prevention time, and I know this is very important for you. I'm sorry, you're just a mess.
Well, yeah,
I
Oh,
would
I
be
love
too.
you.
Brandon took over for me, and I appreciate that. I know I wanted to do it. I wanted to do the whole show, but
Well, we've got a lot. We've got almost 15 minutes left, so go ahead and tell them about. We
Yeah,
tried
and
to
we
play the video, and it didn't want to play. So
StreamYard. There's something going on with StreamYard tonight. I'll
it's
just let everybody
constipated.
know.
dude, it,
It,
it ain't just StreamYard. Spreaker on web radio network is not working either. It's kicking everybody out.
I do want you guys to know there is a Brandon Act law, and I thought that was pretty cool. Brandon Act, and our producer's name's Brandon. This Brandon Act law was created. It basically gives you self-initiated referral process for service members that are seeking mental health evaluations, and it helps reduce the stigma by allowing them to seek help confidentially.
and you can go anywhere. You can go to a hospital. You can go. Bless you, by the way.
Bless you.
Yeah, you can pick a hospital out in the community. You can go to a doctor. I mean, you can go as long as it's a mental health. Well, even if it's not any kind of provider, you can go to the VA. Will pay for it, and you can get the help you need. So there's
Yep.
no excuse.
Yeah. This is named after Petty Officer Third Class Brandon Caserta, who died by suicide in 2018. So I don't know if you guys know what 22 a day means. That's the number of soldiers that kill themselves daily. It's actually one every 67 seconds.
Wow.
So we've got a situation. We got a situation There's a lot of people that are not getting the help they need, and when they get it, it gets ripped out from under them.
Yep.
The gentleman that was shaking in that video, he was just shaking. He's been off his meds for 2 years.
Because of a glitch in the VA system, which is inappropriate and is wrong. I'm sorry. Our veterans deserve a lot better than that.
Um, People are saying in the chat that you're doing a beautiful job tonight, Blaine. Everybody knows you were trying to get on. I'm so sorry this has happened.
I know what it is, so I've already dealt with it. And
Jane,
Jeff's little kids are going back with an ass whooping. That's what they're getting.
James Cunningham says there is help also for family members that have vets in their life that are causing them mental health issues. Now, what that can be is that, if you know that your soldier has been injured and they're dealing with some new lifestyle changes, or due to injury, illness, disease. You will need some help too. You need to know how to help your soldier and first responders.
Yes.
So please reach out. Don't be afraid to do so, because I feel like we're gaining ground, but it's still not enough. Still not enough. So okay, Christopher Fisher, who is a special guest, he's a special co-host on my show. I don't know if you guys can hear him. He couldn't get on StreamYard tonight. He's actually, I can hear him. He's he's one of the only um, special needs um, co-hosts in the paranormal field doing a show. So he's really a trendsetter, and I just love him to pieces. He said that there's some really bad things happening on his side of things. The help that he used to get for his medical situations is going away. He said that the funding's being changed and things like that, and he said it's very difficult for him to deal with it too. So it's not just on this side.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
Okay. Chris Christopher is even though that he has some physical ailments, he still does a lot of research when it comes to medicine, searching about different diseases, things like that. And he said that he looked into this, and he feels that doctors, due to being sick themselves, since the quarantine, they don't have what it takes to be able to see their patients as quickly. And the the number of people that's working and trying to get all these things restarted is just causing a delay.
Wow.
He's he said his part of the system is even worse than the VA, so it is across the board. But with that in mind, though, I did find out that the suicide rate increased in 2021, but it did decrease in 2022 by just a little bit. But I'm happy to say that it did, and this was pushed out the beginning of 2023, this article that I'm looking at. So the new Army suicide prevention policy came about in the fourth quarter of 2022. And so there's a lot of things out there for people, wellness checks, people that are their superiors are supposed to do wellness checks on their soldiers. And I know Matt does it now. I've also, I know that there is a suicide prevention chain teach where the senior commanders deliver in person suicide prevention guidance to their subordinate commanders, and then it goes down to the platoon level. So it's okay. Christopher said that he attended the webinar that was out for the soldiers, that they had out for that was free. And oh, okay. Okay, Christopher's saying that there are people, like there's people that will be on base for whatever reason. If they're civilian, they can still speak with the different people on base that are to help with suicide prevention, and they will refer them to civilian resources. There are two handbooks that came out in the end of the fiscal year 2022. It's the Center for Army Lessons Learned, and it's published by Senior Commander Guide to prevent suicide, suicide prevention, and the brigade slash battalion CDRs, which is a guide to prevent suicide. And they went through commanders all the way through to platoon level. And there is the new awareness campaign that was launched in the end of the year 2021. Not every fight is on the battlefield, and these are parts of the Army public health approach. So I just wanted to give the military credit for doing everything they can to help their soldiers. But when the money's being shifted, there's gaps that are happening, and they're trying to close ranks to help each other. So, mhm. So James is saying my belief is that a lot of mental issues are could be found before stressing many. Wait a minute. My belief is that a lot of mental issues could be found before stressing many more than they can handle. Not a lot of screening prior to service or high stress jobs. That is true. That is true. There's a lot of things that did not happen. There's a lot of pressure to do recruiting. I mean, that's a fact. And they're doing a lot of retention right now. A lot of things are happening in the retention policies. So they're trying not to lose soldiers so that they don't have to go back through that with the new ones. Gaps in service is not good. Yeah, the physical fitness standards are horrible. Well, mhm. So, Blaine, do you have any last thoughts before I do the native blessing? Besides the fact you want to, you know, get your bat to StreamYard. Blaine, do you hear me?
Cut out again.
Oh, he did he? Okay. So, Jack, thank you so much for being on the show.
Sure.
Can
Thanks for
you give your how you can be contacted out again? And I'd love for you to come back. And thank you, Maria and Jeff, for coming on the show. I know there were some connectivity problems. Matthew is available now. Maybe we can. If you'll hold on a second, I'll do my best to get him in here so that you can find out a little more about that property around your area. James is thank you, James, for chiming in. He said the military had a long peacetime. The military had such a long peacetime military for so long they forgot to train high stress environment. Lots of units got soft in my eyes. I agree with you. I agree with you. And Corey is saying on another note, going to send. Oh, okay. He's got some photos for me of the crystals that they have in his shop. That's fantastic. You know, I love those. So, and Carol says, Blaine, JJ, and Lee, congratulations on another great show. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Blaine, do you
Yeah,
have
y'all
any
had a
last?
great show.
Well, honey, you can't
Well,
help.
if it doesn't kick me out, I'll try. Okay. Now, this is appearances for People in Family Spirit coming up. In July, Lee is going to be at the Gettysburg Bash. Let's see, July 13th through 16th. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, Lord. He's going to be livid. Woo.
Poor guy.
And we were just saying that about the Deep South Paracomicon. He was going to speak about that too. All right, so it's about 1 minute. I better hurry and get the blessing. All right, so this is a Native American blessing. It's pretty much just an indigenous one that's covered through many different tribes. May Mother Earth guide your feet. May Father Sky keep his arms around you. May Grandfather Sun warm your cold days. May Grandmother Moon keep the glow in your heart, and may the star nations light the way to the next destination, and the Great Spirit always keep you shielded from pain. Blessings to you, and thank you for listening to Family Spirit International.